Hi, this is Praveen Devas and you're watching the MMA India Show, and this week we are here in Goa at the Oak Barrel, a great resto bar in PANJIM, Goa, and thank you guys for giving us the location. And we had a great fight night today, some really good fights, especially the main card, Tony Ferguson versus Rafael Dos Anjos. TAMAN, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Praveen.
Okay, great. We can hear you as well. I wish I could see you today because I wanted to see the look on your face after you said Rafael is going to win in the second round. And I said that the win is going to go to Tony Ferguson. So
Very good win for Tony. Yeah.
Great win. You know, before we get to that, I want to go to the first fight on the main card, Alexa Grasso versus Heather Clark at strawweight, a strawweight fight. And this was the first fight for Alexa Grasso. She came with a lot of hype from Invicta, and she proved she lived up to the hype. A great fighter with all-round skills and good looking as well. So I would say a new star is born for the UFC. Great fighter, good looker, new star. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely, a new star. I was waiting for Alexa Grasso's debut too. And not to forget, she's quite young. Right now, she's she's younger than Paige, or she's the same age the Paige is. So I hope that we should see in future, not right now. In future, we would get to see the match between Alexa Grasso and the Paige one then someday.
I think that would be a great matchup between two really good fighters and two good lookers. It would be a shame. It's always a shame, of course, to see them beaten up.
Yeah, right. And she looked good in every area of the game. If you say about clinch game or on the ground, or you can say with the striking, she took her down. She took Heather down to the ground.
Yeah.
And she did the damage there too.
Yeah, she had a great all-round game, and Heather Clark didn't seem to have an answer for her.
Yeah, and I think after the first round, into the break, we heard that she said that she is not able to see when she looks down. And she can see when she sees great, but not when she is looking down. So I'm not sure how much the vision was affected of Heather Clark. But not to forget that Heather is a very good fighter. She has been a long time partner for Misha Paget.
Yeah.
So so I think that it is a very good win for Alexa, and we hope to see more from her.
Yeah. Now, I forgot if I introduced you or not. This is PREET talking to us, our analyst and former #1 fan and now new analyst for the MMA India Show. Today he got some of his analysis wrong against us, but we still respect his analyst no matter that. But with all due respect, that was a very tough fight to call, but we'll get to that later. The second fight, Dariush versus Magomedev at lightweight.
Yeah, and another very good fight. But I think, Praveen, we should not forget that all these fights were in Mexico City, Mexico. So, which is at a very high altitude.
I totally agree, and I think as soon as Dariush won, the first thing he mentioned was the altitude.
Yes, that's correct. That's absolutely correct.
He mentioned the altitude and the fact that it wasn't easy, to fight or to train, or for these guys to cut weight. It was, I don't know.
All the fighters.
Yeah.
So because it affects all the things what you.
Yeah, but having said that, it's equal for everybody, right? And now the people who come earlier to have their training camp there, they have an advantage because their body has acclimatized to it and adapted to the altitude. So I'm not sure who got there first, Dariush or Magomedev, but I keep pronouncing his name wrong. Magomedov.
Yeah, Magomedov.
Yeah, Magomedov. So I don't know who got there first, but it seemed to be a pretty equal fight throughout, and it was very hard to call because they both had, a really good all-round game. Though Magomedov, of course, is known to wait for the counters. He's very good in his counter attacks.
Yes. Magomedov is known to be a counter, and he counters well. But I don't think that today Beneil Dariush gave him any time or anything for the counter, because whenever he was protecting himself and he counters, Rashid counters from his left hand. So whenever Beneil Dariush was throwing his kicks, he was like protecting himself well with his left hand.
Yeah.
So that Rashid could not counter it.
So he had a good game plan for him and rightly got the win. Coming to the next fight. Now, first of all, I have to say I am so excited that the UFC fights have started again after 3 weeks, because it was 3 weeks of just seeing past fights, and of course leading up to this fight, which I think, this fight card got a little shadowed by UFC 205 coming up next week.
Yes, right.
So even though, according to me, this was one of the fights of the year, the main event was one of the fights of the year, and it got overshadowed by 205 just coming a week afterwards.
Yes, absolutely. But I just want to point out one thing, that what is next for Alexa Grasso about the last fight.
Yeah.
What I think that Alexa Grasso should fight Jessica Penne or Felice Herrig. But from my point of view, Felice Herrig fight would be a good fight.
Yeah.
The reason being, Felice Herrig has defeated Heather Joe twice.
Yeah.
Not once, but twice. So I think that she looked very crisp in her last fight against Caitlin. So she got the submission win over her. So I think that it would be a good fight again between the two good-looking women and two very skillful women. So and the Felice is a very trained Muay Thai fighter and a submission artist. So it would be good to see the ground game of both women.
Yeah, we're always looking forward to good-looking women fighting, whether we admit it or not. Now coming to the next fight, this is a fight I was really looking forward to because it was in the aftermath of Charles Oliveira missing weight by a whole weight class. I think he missed weight by 9.5 pounds. 9 or 9.5 pounds.
Huge controversy on that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you say 9 pounds, it's altogether another weight class.
Exactly.
Those two lightweight.
Yeah.
So,
and on top of
it is not.
Yeah. On top of that, they gave him another 10 pounds. For the fight day. I thought it should not be more than 5. They should not have given him, more than another 5 pounds to gain.
Yes, and he looked huge. Very. I mean, you can see the size, the disadvantage for Ricardo Lamas.
And I thought in the first round it was going to play a big factor because you did see him taking his back, Lamas's back a lot of times, and carrying where he had to carry his weight. And that is where it mostly factors in, because you're carrying so much more of a heavier guy. And I don't think, again, it's fair that they're only losing 30% of their purse. I personally feel it should be 75%. Because if you lose 30% of your purse and you get the win, so many fighters, would be willing to do that, I think. And that's what's not fair, I think.
Yeah, I think, first, if you check the record, against Miles Jury, Charles Oliveira did the same. He missed weight by 5 pounds. And when this fight happened against Miles Jury, he won the fight. I mean, if you notice the size advantage in between the 5 pounds or 7 pounds, it's very big. It's very big for the other person.
Yeah, exactly. So, Karma's a bitch, and Lamas won, by choke, and I was really happy because I think he deserved the win. And though you can't totally fault Charles Oliveira because he only got the fight 3 weeks ago, and the altitude, everyone was saying it was really tough working out in the altitude of Mexico City. So of course that factored huge into him not being able to make weight, even though it was by such a huge margin. So of course, it shouldn't have been such a big difference. You can imagine 3-4 pounds you can give it to them, but that was just too huge just to say yaar altitude tha and 3 weeks pehle mila. So that's not good enough. He needed to do better. In this at this stage of fighting, you can't come up
You
with
got to be stay ready. Yes, you got to be stay ready. I mean, if you feel that your lightweight champion is fighting or your featherweight champion is fighting, both are fighting, that you should be ready for anything.
Especially once you've accepted the fight, it's in Mexico City. You need to be ready for everything.
Yeah, it's equal for everybody. Apart from the Charles Alvarez, I don't think that none of the fighters missed weight.
Yeah.
Everybody made weight, so it was leveling ground for everybody, and it was I can say that it was 3 or 4 weeks for Charles Alvarez, but still he should have gotten near 145 pounds, maybe 147 or 148. That is fine for 20%, but I mean for 9 or 10 pounds it's a very huge difference.
Yeah.
I mean if you are asking about fighting like Ricardo Lamas would be fighting a guy from 155 like Donald Cerrone or Nate Diaz, long, lanky, and these guys. I mean, I'm just talking about the size difference.
And it became really interesting. This fight became so interesting once it went to the ground. Because they're both so good on the ground. And both of them has such a good ground game, and that's where it really got interesting. And there was a big back and forth all the time.
It was back and forth. Charles Oliveira, we all know that he is expert in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Most of his wins are by rear naked choke or by some other choke from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But I think that today he got the taste of his own medicine. When Ricardo Lamas missed just by a whisker, I thought that if that would have been that round had been gone for 5 to 10 seconds more, I think he might have gone down. But we never know. Ricardo Lamas is a very strong guy.
Yeah, but what happens is what happens. We can't, we can't go by that. What happened is what happened, and I think, he got a great win. Moving on to the next fight, the old warhorse, Diego Sanchez, like the ever-ready bunny, just keeps going and going and going. The nightmare, like I said, he just keeps going and going, and he's shown such a strong chin, so much heart, and so good on the ground against Marcin Held, the Polish fighter making his debut today. He really spoiled his debut. We saw again, Marcin's best chance, of course, was standing, though once it went to the ground, Marcin has great skills on the ground also, and he was continually trying to get him into a leg. He was trying to get his leg or ankle into excuse me, not so much, sorry. Sorry, it's a bar, so they're going to make noise and they got to make their drinks, but still. So we're shooting at the oak barrel today, like we said, so but we've requested them to keep it down. So anyway, like I was saying, once it went to the ground, they were he was continually trying to get him into a leg triangle, his ankle lock, but Diego Sanchez showed why he is a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes, and how can you forget that the parkour attempt escape from Diego Sanchez?
Yeah.
The jumping you made, I think that it would have been higher than he would have gotten out of the cage.
Yeah. He showed some amazing skills. In the first round, he was getting clipped a lot, but it didn't seem to affect him at all. He kept coming forward. And like I said, on the ground, he had some great skills in turning around and getting out of those locks and using it to his advantage, and eventually winning.
Yeah, I think altitude got to Marcin Held. What I think, I gave first round to Marcin Held. I thought that Marcin Held had won that first round.
Yeah.
But after that, he was very tired, and Diego was like, "Okay, it's normal for me."
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, he just doesn't think about things like that. He just keeps going on and on and on, which is great, amazing for a fighter who's had such a long life in the UFC history. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think the fourth most time spent in the ring. He just surpassed BJ Penn in this fight.
Yes, he just surpassed. I think, yeah, he is a great fighter. We cannot just wrong this guy, the nightmare, the original yes man, we say.
Yeah.
Who started the yes chance. I mean, he's fighting from 2005, I guess, when he won the Ultimate Fighter first season.
Yeah, defeating Kenny Florian.
His journey, he started with middleweight, then came down to welterweight, then moved down to lightweight, then featherweight. He had fights in featherweight.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any division and is there any fight we can miss from Diego Sanchez?
Well, I wonder what's next for him now, because it would be a very interesting matchup. I think in the last 3 fights he's 2-1.
Yes, yeah. I was also thinking the same, that what should be next for this guy. But then I remember, what if DJ comes back and Diego Sanchez says, okay, let me go ahead and fight DJ in Philippines or next time whenever the event is. How do you say about this?
That could actually be a great matchup.
Yeah, 2 legends fighting each other. We don't know that. It might be the last fight for BJ Penn, so why not again?
And even Diego Sanchez, for that matter, even though he doesn't seem to want to stop, but even for him.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but he said that whatever UFC gives me, I don't think that he's going to stop. I think there are some more fights left, and it seems Joe is really helping him a lot.
Yeah. Okay, well, having said that, coming to the main event, which is what everybody is waiting to hear, I guess. Tony Ferguson against Rafael Dos Anjos, the ex-champ at lightweight. What an amazing fight. We all knew this is going to be. And Rafael was very strong in the first round, but Tony Ferguson has such amazing skills. I really feel, and this is why I said he's going to win the match, is I really feel he has some of the best all-round skills in the fight, in the MMA game today, especially in the UFC. Somebody I would really want to see him fight actually is Michael Venom.
Very nice. Michael Venom Page.
Of course, that's not going to happen anytime soon. That's just a wish list. But coming back to this fight, he of course, his footwork is amazing. His stand-up skills, he can hit from anywhere. You don't just know what this guy is going to do. I think unpredictable is the best way to describe him. He has such amazing skills and such amazing combinations which you have not seen before.
I was watching, it is just then, I mean, you can just watch Tony Ferguson fight and fight. It's not because his footwork, it seems like he's dancing.
Yeah, it seems like dancing, which is why I compared him to Michael Venom Page. But, but it's not, because he's trying to lull his opponent almost into coming in, and he's always ready.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very good. I gave the first round to Tony Ferguson. He was really jabbing hard to RDA. I don't know what happened to RDA. If you see Rafael's old fights, apart from the Eddie Alvarez fight, a fight with Donald Cerrone, fight with Nick, fight with Benson Henderson, any fight, he seems, and even fight with Anthony Perez, he mauled Anthony Perez.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying that Tony Ferguson is one of the best, if not the best in the business right now. I think he is better than those other guys you just named. With all due respect to them, I think he has better all-round skills, and he's much more unpredictable. So fighters don't know how to prepare for him. How do you prepare for this guy? He can hit you from anywhere. He's got such an amazing ground game, stand-up game. How do you stop him? 9-fight win streak, amazing.
And I don't think that he is going to get title shot very soon. I mean,
of of course, that's a whole different ball game, because it's not really on merit right now. It's on the fight game as well. Who deserves what, and well, not really. That's what I mean. It's not about who deserves what. It's about what's going to be the biggest fight game. But he is in line. If Khabib wins, it's going to be either Khabib or him, or of course Nate Diaz is lurking around the corner as well.
Absolutely. Yes, I agree to it. And if I saw him, like he's knocking. He has got TQ with a knockout with talking about Tony Ferguson. And if you saw today, I mean, he was hitting like from every angle, from each and every. And that he's not even predictable on the ground. He is from 10th planet jiu-jitsu, and his submissions are like. I haven't seen those submissions, like how he grapples with people.
Yeah.
So whether you are black belt
Hold on, I'm just shooting the show still. Okay.
Can I see it?
You are seeing it. You're in the frame right now. Yeah, no problem. I just had a friend walk in, so he'll be on the show as well. But he was only here temporarily, so but it's Goa, so it's all susegad.
So say hi to from me.
I'll do that, but he's gone now. He's, I guess, headed out for a beer in the bar. But so what were we saying?
Yeah, regarding the Tony Ferguson fight, the how he fights, he's from each and every angle, and he's from 10th planet. So it's very difficult for other people who are even black belts to grapple with Tony Ferguson.
Exactly, he's got just such an amazing game, and if you saw some of his training videos, he was training in the mountains. I mean, he's not fucking around. He's in the mountains. He's climbing. He's sprinting up those mountains. He's carrying weight up those mountains. I'm guessing it was for the altitude as well. But he is training his ass off. All his skills. He's training with different kinds of guys. He is out to be the best and fight with the best. And today you saw him stand up against one of the very best. This was, of course, his toughest fight ever. Right? And he came out really strong against it. We saw against his last fight, Vanata, I think he took him a little too easily in the first round and almost paid for it, but he came back really strong and finished Vanata. And here he wasn't able to finish Rafael, but that's also because he didn't want to be stupid. I think he never ever rushed in. He's so good at just coming in and out, with his guerrilla warfare. Like we said, he did. I think there was a couple of times when he did try to finish him, but wasn't able to. But then backed off a bit because he didn't want to, I think, finish his own gas tank. He played such a smart game. He was at the same pace throughout the fight. It was Rafael who was coming, in spurts and bursts, but Tony was consistent throughout the fight.
Yes, Tony was altogether consistent, and I didn't see that Tony was tired any time. He was like jabbing, dancing around, sprinting around the fence, and
Rafael was able to get quite a few good shots in. Of course, not as many as Tony, but he was able to. But you didn't see one mark on Tony. You couldn't see that they were having any effect. And he was toying with Rafael. He was talking to him. He was smiling at him. He was, he was in control, you can say.
Yes, absolutely. He was in control, and that's what astounded me. Because Rafael did it with his best shot.
It astounded you, but it didn't astound me. I knew that was coming.
Yeah. That's the fun. One should be pro. I think one should be pro, and that's how it's a fun fight game.
Yeah.
And if you saw his leg kicks, Rafael RDA hitting with his legs to his liver and to his legs. He slipped. Tony slipped once or twice, but then again, I think RDA did his best to knock down Tony with his leg kicks to his liver, to his thighs, everywhere, and with his punches. But I don't know what happened to RDA. Tony Ferguson's chin held up very well, and his body held up very well, and nothing seems to be working for.
That's what I mean. What happened to RDA was he was just against a better fighter, I think, and it wasn't his day. Rafael, due respect to him, is an amazing fighter, an amazing champ. Let's not forget he beat Anthony Pettis in an amazing fight. He defended it against Cerrone. Of course, lost to Alvarez, but he's an amazing fighter, and that's why he was Tony Ferguson's toughest fighter till date. And but Tony Ferguson just showed he is, and I say this very cautiously, but he is in a different class altogether.
He is in a very different class now, and he is in the mix for the title.
Of course,
That's no
yes.
doubt about it.
There's no doubt about the fact that he is in the mix for the title. Another great fight. Let's say, if depending on who wins, I feel if Eddie Alvarez wins, he is definitely either him or Khabib. If Khabib wins, is up for the title fight next. If McGregor wins, then there may be a spanner in the wheel, so to speak. Another great fight may just be Tony Ferguson versus Nate Diaz, now that Nate Diaz has established himself as a superstar as well.
Yes. Praveen, what I was thinking was, I wanted to see a fight which was cancelled. I wanted to see Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chiesa. That was supposed to be...
Of course, but it didn't happen. Chiesa had to withdraw from the match.
Chiesa pulled out.
And
But I really wanted to see that fight.
But he is beyond that fight now. He is gone beyond Michael Chiesa now.
Yes, he is now altogether in a different match.
Different league.
He is in the title contention.
Yes.
He's absolutely there, right at the top. And yes, if Nate Diaz, I'm not sure if what I have heard about rumors like Nate Diaz would be offered the winner of Eddie Alvarez and Conor McGregor. But I'm not sure if that doesn't happen, then I would surely see Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. But how I cannot imagine Nate Diaz winning that fight, because
neither can I, and that's because this lightweight division has become murderer's row now. It is full of killers. You can match up the top 5 against each other. All top 5 fights would be fucking amazing. And it has become, I think, the most exciting division in the UFC right now. Especially with Conor McGregor, of course, bringing that spunk into the division by moving up. He's brought that spunk into this division where people want to be beating him as well. Of course, if we see him lose to Eddie Alvarez, it'll be the other guys up for contention as well.
Yeah. But what did Eddie said that he would give the fight next title if he wins. If he wins, then he would give the title fight to the person who is truly deserved.
That's what Eddie Alvarez said, of course, because he said he wants to make the UFC great again, and he wants the title fights to be on merit rather than just on business and people talking themselves up, which is correct to a point. I agree. But having said that, Conor McGregor has won quite a few fights. The only guy he's lost to is Nate Diaz. Of course, there's a lot of people who say he hasn't really fought, but he did beat Jose Aldo, who was the champion.
Yes.
That a lot of people can again say that he loses a lot of weight, the other guys are much smaller than him, blah blah blah, but it is what it is, as Dana White would say. He is...
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, he talks but he backs up.
Yeah, he's the featherweight champ. He beat Nate Diaz in their second meeting, which I don't agree with personally, but that is what it is. That is what it is on the scorecards. Now, having said that, what an amazing... and I would call this the lightweight day, because out of the how many fights were there on the main card? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of 6, 4 were at lightweight, 1 was featherweight, and 1 was strawweight female. 4 lightweight fights. It was the lightweight day today at UFC Mexico. And having said that, we're going to call it a day and look forward to UFC in New York, UFC 205 next week. What a fight that is going to be, and I'm not going to talk about it too much. I know you have a lot to say. I have a lot to say. We are going to keep all those thoughts for the preview. We are going to shoot a special preview show for UFC 205 because we've got so much to say. Even the prelim cards are stacked. What an amazing fight card. The best UFC fight card ever in history so far. What do you think?
Absolutely.
No more. That's it. That's it. No more. No. That's all we're going to say. Yeah, definitely.
Even the prelims, even the fight pass prelims are too good.
Great. So the viewers are going to look forward to seeing you as well on the preview and post-match show, where we will have Taman Preet join us as well as some other special guests. So till then, thank you, Taman Preet, for joining us once again.
Thank you.
Now that you are part of the MMA India Show family, so welcome and thank you to the Oak Barrel for giving us this amazing location, and thank you Goa for being such an amazing city and state all the time, and Susagat everybody, and till next week, this is Praveen Dabas with the MMA India Show. Goodbye, Taman.
Bye bye.
Bye, see you.